ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, let's go ahead and transition over to another DC topic here, Stuart. We will transition over to more of the television universe. Now, one of the things that I think have stood with us for quite some time, if you're a big DC television fan, we all remember how Crisis on Infinite Earths wind up ending, really kind of giving us a new Earth Prime for a lot of our characters in regards to CW to now sort of live on. But some of these characters, especially after the end of, say, Arrow, we didn't quite know exactly where they were certainly going to be going. And one of those characters is, in fact, John Diggle himself. Last time we saw John Diggle at the end of the Arrow season finale, he was packing up with his family to go ahead and move out to Metropolis when he actually notices a green light in the sky that crash lands. And Diggle winds up discovering what a lot of us are at least assuming a Green Lantern ring for himself. And that is, in fact, the last time that we see John Diggle in the CW Arrowverse. But that's not the last we will see of John Diggle. He is, in fact, set to return. David Ramsey has mentioned the idea that he will be directing, I believe, like a 5-part storyline for John Diggle that will be crossing over into pretty much everybody's television shows here when it comes to the CW. So what exactly will be John Diggle's story? Well, we don't necessarily know fully. We are at least getting teased by the Flash showrunner. So let's go ahead and pull up this information here, Stuart, and see if we can decipher a little bit more about what's going to be going on with John Diggle. This story actually comes to us from tvline.com. Hold on one second. I think this thing crapped out on me real quick for the share screen. Can you see me okay, Stuart? I haven't frozen on you, have I? Are you muted?
I am muted. My bad. Yeah, I can see you just fine. Just can't see the screen. There we go.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that Streamlabs was like, sorry, connection interrupted. Get out of here. Anyway, TV Line, Flash boss teases Diggle's next visit and the problem that he'll be juggling. So it says, we already kind of went down everything that David Ramsey is certainly going to be going into. But it says, as previously reported, Ramsey is now due to reprise his role as Diggle in a total of 5 episodes across The Flash, Supergirl, Superman and Lois, Batwoman, and will play as a mystery role in Legends of Tomorrow. It says during TV Line's in-depth season 7 preview Q&A, we asked showrunner Eric Wallace what the Flash's specific plans for Diggle are, and he says, boy, that's a spoiler. And relied with a hearty laugh before offering a tease of what's to come. So this is the Flash showrunner Eric Wallace. He says, when we last saw Diggle, he had the situation at the end of Arrow that he needed to deal with. So he arrives to help Team Flash in the back half of this season, carrying the weight of that specific problem. And the question is, how can he help Team Flash when he's got something even bigger on his mind? And that's what the story is. It does say, speaking with Diggle's long-teased destiny as Green Lantern, Arrowverse Marks Guggenheim told TV Line over a year ago that Greg, David, and I had a lot of conversations about David's future in the Arrowverse going forward, both in front of and behind the camera. And there are a lot of ideas that we're banding about that they're very excited to us, that we find very exciting to us. We've got some cool notions for next season. So, Stuart, you hear this coming from Eric Wallace, the showrunner, the fact that Diggle has a huge problem that he's dealing with. He has to kind of balance his own problem along with the idea of him helping out the Flash team also when he arrives at the back half of this season. What do you think that dilemma is, man, if you had to take a guess?
I imagine it's going to be, he has this responsibility of, being offered this ultimate power of, the ring essentially, but it means everything that he has to leave behind, because obviously most of the Green Lanterns, they don't just give you the ring and say, hey, protect your sector. there's a lot of training that's involved with it. There's having to go off world. So I feel like that's kind of going to be his big struggle, is deciding whether or not he does want to take up the Green Lantern mantle, meaning he has to leave his family behind for a long period of time. And then even when he comes back, it's not like his job is just to protect Earth. His job is to protect literally that entire sector. So it means he's very limited on how much time he can actually spend around with his family and everyone else around him. So that would be my biggest guess as to what he's going to be struggling with, and what his the juggling that they refer to in this article will be. You're muted.
See, I think me and Diggle just have a completely different mindset, man. Because if I got that ring, I'd be like, "Oh, putting this on, bye, boom, just onto some adventures."
I mean, to be fair, you don't like, as far as I know, you're not married with two kids, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely not, absolutely not. But yes, Diggle definitely is certainly a different man than I am, in a different position in his life for sure. Because I would have been like, in brightest day, and I was just taken off in a heartbeat. No decisions to make. But you're absolutely right. I can easily see that being a struggle for him. We know how much he loves his wife. He's got his kids and things like that now also. So that is a huge responsibility for him to have to possibly tackle at some particular point in time. And because of that, I love the idea that they've given David Ramsey not only the opportunity to direct and be behind the camera, but also to really flesh out, which I think is probably going to be maybe the last times that we get the opportunity to see John Diggle, David Ramsey playing the John Diggle character. I think if you're going to go out, and I don't mean like die or anything, but I mean, if you're going to go out with a bang, the idea of having sort of a 5-part storyline all for yourself, to really have to weigh sort of this really meaty decision in his life. I really like that. I do think that he's got some great friends that he's going to be bumping into along this journey, that he can either relate to or get some really amazing advice from. I would love to kind of see him have a sit-down conversation with either, Martian Manhunter or Supergirl herself, whenever he crosses over into that particular realm. I'm fascinated alone about the idea, especially after how Superman and Lois kicked off this week. The idea of getting to see John Diggle in that world. Yeah, man, I really want to see how else he's incorporated into this, and just see that struggle or problem that he's trying to figure out for himself, go all the way through. So I'm really looking forward to this John Diggle story at the end of the day. And do you think that this will end with him as the Green Lantern, or do you think that's almost a given, or do you think they still could kind of just tease us with it?
I feel like they kind of have to at this point, only because they know that that's what we're expecting. And I feel like especially because of the way they ended things on Arrow, I feel like, to me, it would be such a dick move if they don't even bring it up after all of this time, and, they don't mention that it's not going to be brought up, because I feel like if you're not going to bring up the Green Lantern storyline, you should at least tell people that John Diggle will be returning, but he will not be returning as the Green Lantern. That, I feel like that's it would be kind of irresponsible, get out of the way. As a producer to like hype up him returning and not have him return as the Green Lantern. Or at least, like I said, I don't know if we'll see him in the suit, but I can totally see them at least like him having the ring, him having the big decision on whether or not he should, go with the Lanterns or, stay with his family. And then what I think would be kind of a really cool way to end it, because I do think if you're doing it with one shot, no matter which show it's on, whether it's, the high budget show of Superman and Lois or, Supergirl, I feel like as long as it's just one shot, you could at least end it with him wearing the suit and then giving a full closure for that character.
Man, I would love to see him in a suit in Superman and Lois with that budget right now. That would be so sweet.
God, yes.
I don't know the order in which he's going to be popping up in these particular episodes. I would assume because of the fact that some of these shows are starting a little bit later, we can kind of maybe have an idea. Like I can easily see the Flash, because they did say the second half of the season, so it would make sense. I mean, they do say Flash, Supergirl, Superman and Lois, Batwoman, and then Legends of Tomorrow. So I am wondering if that's actually going to be the order in which he's gonna actually pop up this season. And when it comes to Legends of Tomorrow, I would be really fascinated to see if maybe that's like a future Green Lantern story, or maybe he pops up in Legends as Green Lantern there, since they're considering him a mystery character or a mystery role. So yeah, I don't really know what that refers to, but I'm eager for this regardless, man. I mean, I appreciate the tease from Eric Wallace here, but I'm definitely fascinated to kind of see what his connection with the Team Flash is going to be, and really just some of those hard conversations that he really has to have. And if you're going to have those conversations, why not have it with somebody like a Barry Allen for sure?
You know what they need to do? That would be amazing, actually. They need to have a scene. If they go with the full-on Green Lantern thing, they need to have a scene where John suits up as the Green Lantern and he needs Barry's help for something off-world. So he takes Barry off-world, flies him off-world, and then as soon as they arrive, you have Barry being the one who's like, give me a second, like as he's about to throw up. Have it come full circle.
I love it.
But one thing I'm kind of hoping for, like, regardless of whether or not we see John Diggle anymore in the Arrowverse, just the fact that he's not only returning in 5 episodes, but also directing 5 episodes. I'm not sure if they're the same episodes that he's returning in, or if it's 5 separate episodes. So in other words, he's involved with somewhere between 5 to 10 episodes in total, somewhere between there. I do hope this means we might get more David Ramsey in the future of the Arrowverse, like whether it be that he returns coming back like as Diggle, or if he just kind of stays on board as a writer or a director. I think that'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, that really would be. I really have loved when a lot of our CW actors have taken a stab at directing behind the scenes. I love being able to see them just grow in their talents, because I do think that probably helps them become a little bit of a better actor also, to kind of know both sides of being in front and behind the camera also. So I'm just glad that they were giving him that opportunity, and that could just open the door even more for him, especially if this 5-part series really knocks it out of the park. Just potential for a lot of other stuff that he can certainly do, whether it be on the DC television stuff or just in the future.